Hello, I'm Joseph Bell. It is lovely to speak to you. This is my story. I was born on March 12, 1861 at Farnham, Cumbria. My father was John and my mother Margaret Bell. I was named after my grandfather and great-grandfather, and was baptized on the May 4, 1861 at Farnham Church. My family from Farnham, Cumbria, were yeomen who had been farming for many decades in Farnham. I had a sister named Jane and two brothers named Richard and John. Sadly, my mother died shortly after John's birth. My father had inherited the family farm from his father in 1849 at the age of 17. He had been brought up by his grandmother, as his mother had also died after the birth of his younger brother. Father married Margaret Watson and continued farming in Farnham. Myself and my sister and brothers were educated in a private school in the village. In the 1870s, Father moved to Eden Town, Stanwix, Carlisle. We continued our education at William Harrison's Academy at Earl Street, Carlisle. Upon leaving school, I left Carlisle and went to Newcastle as an apprentice engine fitter at Robert Stephenson's and Company. George Stephenson was a regular visitor to James Thompson of Farnham Hall. His son Robert even made a donation to the new church appeal. Thompson's collieries were along the fell side and serviced by railways which had been developed in conjunction with the Stephensons. Thompson and Sons bought locomotives including the Rocket from Newcastle, as well building their own at Kirkhouse. Living only a mile from all this Victorian innovation, it presented an attractive alternative to farming. I joined the White Star Line in 1885 and served on many vessels trading on the company's New Zealand and New York services. I married Maud Bates in 1893 in Ripley and had 4 children, Francis John, Frank, Marjorie Claire, Eileen Maud, and Ralph Douglas. At the age of 30, I was promoted to chief engineer on the White Star liner Coptic. I was a member of the Institute of Marine Engineers and of the Royal Naval Reserve. I was living at 1 Belvedere Road, Great Crosby, Liverpool, but had a temporary address in Southampton. I was delighted to serve aboard the Olympic before being transferred to the Titanic. I stood by the ship during her construction in Belfast. Titanic was something unique, so very special to me. I joined her in Belfast and would remain on board for her maiden voyage. She was running like perfection, her engines performing exceptionally well. I just could not believe that we had struck an iceberg and that we were sinking. Myself and our incredible engineering crew were doing everything in our power to keep Titanic afloat as long as possible. Even when it was 2 minutes before the end, when the stern was high in the air, we remained at our posts to do our duty. We managed to keep the lights on until the ship lost all power and started to break. Sadly, I was lost along with my engineering crew, including all 24 engineers. This has been my story. It has been a privilege speaking to you today. Thank you, Joseph.